the Honorable Minister of Education and Sports, the other ministers, the chairperson of the council, executive director, members of the council, and the other distinguished invited persons who are here today. First of all, I congratulate the council on their 20th anniversary. Thank you, congratulations. And I want to thank the ministers and the managers, the leaders of the council who have shepherded it all this time. We salute them. The Council for Higher Education, which will be building on what the lower education has imparted in the young people, in my view, should be clear about its historical role. Modern education is, in my view, about, especially the higher one, is about two things. Number one, understanding nature and understanding the natural laws of nature. This is what you call science. But actually, these are natural laws. Gravity, light, sound, electrons, bonding of molecules to form compounds. This is nature. So you should be very clear, especially because sometimes the mystification of knowledge can confuse oneself, but also even people who are learning from you. But if you are clear, like on the side of science, that really we are basically talking about understanding nature and its natural laws and how they can help man in solving one or the other problem, or even creating problems for society. Because some people use natural laws to create problems for society. The societies which understood gunpowder before we did created a lot of problems for us. For them, they understood the simple natural characteristic of how solids or liquids, some solids or liquids or powders in a confined space when they are converted to gas, they create pressure which expels what we call a projectile. And that's how you kill people. Because gas has got the natural characteristic of expansion. Gas is expand. In a confined space, therefore, they create that pressure which expels the bullet. Those who understood this before us were able to come and cause so much trouble here in the world. When you hear slave trade, all that was because of the simple problem, colonialism, because we lacked the ability to understand that science quickly. Nuclear energy, the same problem. So therefore, you, the managers of education in general, and especially the higher ones, the higher management, which is your job, should be clear about that point. Because like when I was talking with my young people there, say ICT. I said, what is ICT? ICT. This other one, artificial intelligence. What is it exactly? Is it not electrons? How they move around and you make them do work, and how you manipulate them? Yes, but we import them. We import. You import. If you are importing, then you are not yet free. You must learn, you must go deeper and excite the electrons yourselves independently. So, because that's what we did when we went to the bush. We didn't just copy what these people were doing. We did our own things. And that's how we were able to become formidable, because nobody could control us. So therefore, number one, especially for higher education, is, in my view, you can later on, when we have time, you can guide me, say, no, you are mistaken here, you can help me. But from what I've been watching, understanding nature and its laws and using them to solve problems is one very important part of education. The lower education, of course, includes acquiring the basics, reading, writing, counting, and so on. But also you get the introduction to the sciences, even in the lower schools. Then the second part is understanding society and evolution of man. That is now for the social scientists. How this man has been evolving in society as a hunter-gatherer, then learning how to domesticate some crops, some wild seeds. Instead of following them in the bush, you bring them home and you tame them, you plant them deliberately Then my tribe, many, many years ago, they learned how to domesticate animals. Actually, they don't call them animals. If you say a cow is an animal, he will fight you. Because a cow is a cow. Nente. It can't be a nyameshwa. You can see how advanced they are. Even in Uganda, I'm sure you cannot say ensoro into ensoro. You can see how the Europeans are still backward. They call a cow an animal. I find it very offended when they say animals. Animals, these are not animals, these are cows. Eh? So you can see how these societies were evolving, even language evolving, invention of iron ore, the use of iron tools, and so on. So I think if you get clear, because like for instance, we still have hunter-gatherers here in Africa. The Batwa, the Pygmies in the forest, they have not yet learned the science of domesticating crops or domesticating animals. They think it is a waste of time. They think it is better to remain in the forest, gathering honey and catching some wild animals. And then the society, how it evolved. Because like here, you still have, when you hear people talking of landlords, Wetaka, Nowechibanja, you are still talking of a feudal arrangement. We have not gone to the stage of capitalism. Still 600 years behind. So therefore, my suggestion is that when we are managing education, we should not mystify it. Go to the basics and make sure that our students really understand the basics. And the whole, I would call it like enlightenment. Because part of the problem of Africa was remaining in superstition when other parts of the world had moved a bit in the area of natural science. They had understood natural science better than us when we were still in the issue of, in the area of superstition. That man, I think he's called Louis Pasteur, the one who saw the first microbe, I think, under the microscope. When did he do that? Can somebody help me? One of the scientists, come and help me, please. On the microphone there. Louis Pasteur, the Frenchman. I get this information from my computer from long ago. Louis Pasteur, if you don't know, check on your internet, they will tell you. Who would help us about Louis Pasteur? don't have doctors here. Oh, they are disturbing you. Okuda is the one going to. What are all these young boys doing? Young girls. There is a young girl there. Okuda, you sit down. Let them not disturb you. Let the young children do it. There is a girl who stood there. Run. This one here. Sit, Professor Okuda. Let these children do it. You sit down.
Yeah, Louis Pasteur pioneered the study of molecules.
Of?
Molecules.
Molecules.
Yeah. And discovered that microorganisms cause fermentation and disease.
Microorganisms.
Yes.
Which year was it?
It was in 1962.
No.
Sorry. 1862.
1862.
Yes.
Okay. Sit down. What's your name?
Zawede Patricia.
Goretti?
Zawede Patricia from Cavendish University, Uganda.
Zawede.
Patricia.
Ka?
Patricia.
Patricia.
Yes.
Zawede.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Zawede. Go to Yambe Munangi. Okay, sit down. Now, you can hear Louis Pasteur, 1862. This is more than 150 years now. Was able to see that there are organisms that we are not able to see with our eyes. 150 years ago. Now, some about 15 years ago, I went back to the Ruero Triangle, my area of operation. And I was walking. I decided to pass in the village of Nakaziwa. We had our chairman there. He was called Konia. He was a very enlightened man in the village. The most, I would say, educated in the village. Maybe he went up to P6 or something like that. So I found him there, seated with a swollen leg. Hey, Konia, Obadichi. Ntandoze. Okuloze? Ntibantege talo. That some people, who can tell us about a talo? A talo wananga. Sagara wakadewa no kuwata wanya. I wanted the young ones. A talo, what is a talo? Come and tell us. Come on the microphone.
Your Excellency, I'm Mike Katongole, a master's student of bioinformatics.
Katongole, a student of?
Makerere, I'm doing masters in bioinformatics.
Masters in what?
Bioinformatics.
Bioinformatics. Informatics?
Yes.
Okay.
My auntie died of a talo, I was told.
Your father died?
My auntie.
Your auntie?
In 1999.
1999, yes.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
So in my second year, in microbiology class in MUST, I found out that a talo was an infection of a bacteria called Clostridium perfringens. It resides in the soils, in the villages, below areas where oxygen can reach. So our traditional farmers, when they are farming without gumboots, they dig soil onto their feet, which has previously cut with wounds. So this bacteria enters their legs and it leads to swelling. Unfortunately, Clostridium perfringens toxins, so far on the market, they have not yet got antibacterials for them because they are rare infections in Europe, so no one is willing to invest in that research. We call them orphan diseases. So you can't find a tallow in Kampala.
But it can be killed by antibiotics.
Previous antibiotics can kill them, but unfortunately previously people reach hospitals when it is too late, when they have got systemic infection.
Oh.
So they will die, and they say when you have a tallow and you are injected with a penicillin, you die. So they would prefer local herbs.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Excellency.
Now, Katongere is a bio something.
Informatician.
Let's get a doctor to help us, because I was told, because when I was walking and they told me the cornea told me that Bambuloze etalo, I had my doctor who were working with me. I said, what's this? They told me that this is a simple bacterial infection, that they call it cellulitis. That the disease is called cellulitis. So which doctor can tell us now? A young doctor, don't disturb people like Okuda, old men. Katumbuleko, abakade.
Thank you, Your Excellency. I'm Dr. Asman Lukwago. I'm a physician.
Doctor who?
Lukwago Asman.
Lukwago.
Yes.
Very good.
Cellulitis means inflammation of the tissue. But the common consequence of that infection of the bacteria is to cause that inflammation. That's why it is called cellulitis. So what the colleague had described was
is the cause.
Exactly, the bacteria, how it enters into the body, but the consequence on that part of the body that is affected is inflammation, intense inflammation, and that's what we call cellulitis.
And what is the cure? Because I treated Lukwago.
Yes.
I treated cornea.
Yes. So the cure, because many bacteria actually cause cellulitis. It's not only the other bacteria which is said, even other bacteria that are available. In fact, African traditionally know the sources of those bacteria, and they tend to place them strategically where someone can be injured and they enter his body. So they call it witchcraft, but actually when it is a biological process. So immediately you step on them, they can mix blood, get some rotting animals, and they mix them. So the other aspect of bewitching is not really underrated.
So they can be deliberately brought nearby.
Exactly, it's like a biological weapon. You prepare a concoction so that when someone steps on it, and these are bacteria which rapidly spread, they are kept into blood, and we call it culturing them. When you culture, you put bacteria into a medium so that they multiply rapidly. So someone stepping on them and is injured at the same time makes those bacteria access the body, and this results into a quick infection and inflammation, swelling, and then we call it cellulitis. But the toxins which are liberated, if the patient doesn't rush to the hospital first, may paralyze other organs like the heart, the brain. Of course, when patients are supported with the fluids, blood, they usually survive. But the antibiotics usually work on such a bacteria, Your Excellency.
But the bacteria can kill it if you do it on time.
The antibiotic?
The antibiotics.
Yeah, the antibiotics kill them.
Yeah.
And if combined with supportive treatment, even Clostridium, the patient will survive. You know, the human body depends on supporting. If the cells are dying, Or if the blood is becoming diluted and your pressure is falling, then we give you more fluid. We can give you blood, as we also give you antibiotics to kill the new bacteria that come up. And patients usually survive.
So it is curable?
Yeah, it's curable. It is perfectly curable, and we have had such a challenges when we treat patients, others especially like diabetics, when they come with their taro, you have to bargain and even sign and say, if he dies, I will take responsibility. Because the relatives will always refuse the antibiotics. So that is an attitude which has grown a long time. And I think through health education, some of them accept.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Kwame.
You are welcome. You are excellent.
Now, so you can see, 1862, Louis Pasteur discovered that there were organisms that we cannot see with our eyes, which are around us. Some are good, like the ones that were causing fermentation, but some are bad. But here, where I was, chairman of the National Resistance Movement, this must have been like 2000 there, like 20 years ago, calling on my chairman, my village chairman, who is suffering from invasion by some microbes, and he doesn't know that there is a medical answer to that. And his leg was up, ready to, I don't know what he was planning to do, but and then when I called my doctor, immediately the person is cured. So you can see that you, the education experts, now on the side of social science, you must do some work for people to stop believing in witchcraft, in superstition, and believing more in natural science. That there are causes, and the natural science is everywhere. Like when you put the bananas in the ground to ripen, it is those bacteria which ripen those bananas, amabide. But I have actually not asked our people what they think ripens. They think it is a bugumu. But then why does the ripe banana ripen even when it is on the tree? So that disconnection among African people, it's not only African people, even the others. For instance, in the Middle Ages, in Europe, people are believing in the same superstitions. But for them, they have moved. From the time of Louis Pasteur, they started moving away. But your people here are stuck in that non-science way of life. Non-science way of life. And really, I don't know how you assess that, because I find this a big problem, to have a society that is still superstition oriented. How, on the side of social science, how are you going to handle that? Because this is part of, I think in other places they called it enlightenment. How can you build an enlightened society? Society that believes in science, in God, because also there's another danger. There are others who said with science there's no God. No. Because here I'm talking about you understanding the natural laws. But who created those natural laws? This is where I did not agree with some people in the universities. They were saying, oh, with science, there's no God. Gravity, you talk of gravity, but who created it? Who created all these, the earth, that the earth is the one pulling me down, but who created the earth? But that's another issue. That one we can, our battle between the atheists and the scientists and the ones who believe in God, that one we can handle. But the first problem we have is having a society which is disconnected with natural science and is stuck in superstition. You don't have, you can think about, I don't know whether you have ever thought about it. If you have not, you think about it. Because it's all right to have, a few of us who are here, who know. But how about those millions in the village who still believe in superstition? And because of that, they make a lot of, they suffer a lot of losses. So therefore, in my view, the challenge of education in a society like this one are those two. On the side of science, it is understanding that science is essential about nature and its laws, and how they can be used positively or negatively. Because, for instance, now, when we are talking of biotechnology can be used to do good things, but it can also be used to what some of them are thinking about is how to discover a germ which can kill only Africans because of their genetic makeup and not other people. Have a biogenetic weapon. And that's what I've been telling my people. Please, we need to adopt the biotechnology law so that we study it in order to use it, but also to defend ourselves against the misuse. It's not good to keep away from biotechnology because other people will use it both positively and negatively, and we shall not be there to defend ourselves. So therefore, I'm very happy to be here, and I have made what I've been observing. Now, regarding the challenges which Professor Kololo pointed out, the speech was clear, long, and detailed. The achievements were 15 or 16. There were 15. Then there were a few problems. We are going to study them, and we shall respond. On the issue of salary, for scientists, our scientists, you are pushing somebody who is quoting. Because I support that line. I have been having a war with some of my people, and this war started a little bit in Soroti Flying School. There we have got a government flying academy where pilots are trained, pilots and aircraft engineers. Now, because we still didn't have enough money in the whole government to pay all government workers well, then actually Professor Nsibambi, when he was Minister of Public Service, brought the idea of democratic suffering, that we should all suffer. If the money is not enough, all of us should get small. But the idea of Professor Museveni of democratic suffering was different from our Bayekera experience with the guerrillas. Because in the bush we had no food, very little food, and we would be democratically starving, all of us. But we said, although we are, and you know, when you have not eaten enough, you are always dozing. I think the body is trying to conserve the few calories by sending you to sleep so that you don't squander the little calories you have. Now, when you are hungry, you tend to doze. So we said, if we all doze, the enemy will come and kill all of us. So although we don't have enough food, let's give the soldiers on duty who are guarding the camp more food, so that for them they at least awake. Even if we are asleep, if the enemy comes, they will engage him and then we shall wake up. So we're able to see the one on sentry duty, what they call sentry duty, the ones guarding, should get more food than the rest of us. And this is my logic when I say the scientists should get more pay for now, because otherwise we shall all be killed. That was my logic. So therefore, if these are scientists, academicians, now because we need them urgently now. If we don't quote Shakespeare, because me, I am a person of literature, but if I don't quote Shakespeare, people will not die. But if somebody gets cellulitis and is not treated, he will die. So now, although I'm very clever, I can remember what Shakespeare said and how he said it, and he was looking this way. What we need now is the one who can treat cellulitis immediately now. Then in the future we shall see how to handle this clever man of literature when we are able. So that's the logic why we say, please, if the money is small, let's start with these scientists. Because we need them to keep the roads open, civil engineers, the buildings, architects, the medicals, to keep us alive. So therefore, in that line, I would insist that the government science educators. No, but let me first finish the Soroti issue. Because of the other logic of Professor Nsibambi of democratic suffering, Soroti Flying School is under Ministry of Works. So there is the permanent secretary, there is the undersecretary in the ministry, there is the principal assistant secretary. These are all big people there. Then you come to the head of the school, is there. And then you come to the pilot instructors and engineers, aircraft engineers. Now, they were paying them a smaller salary because they had to earn lower than the permanent secretary, to be lower than the principal secretary, to be lower than the under secretary. But the pilot, the one who was qualified on a commercial jet engine, in the market is earning 25 million shillings if he has qualified on a jet engine. So I bought 6 aircrafts for training. The school was there. The artificial training, the simulator was there. The airport is tarmacked, but all the teachers went away. They went to earn money from the airlines, and they refused to train my pilots. So I told my people, now, what are you doing here now? Why don't you pay these pilot instructors what they are paid in the market so that they keep your school open? Now the school is going to close. What sort of wisdom is this? So eventually they saw my point, and they started paying the pilots higher than the principal secretary. Principal secretary can go and shut another one. But this pilot instructor, we don't have another one. What do we do now? Do we close the school or what? You people banange munyambe okutegera ekigambo ekyo. It's not that we are against the big people. Even now, me as president, I get a small salary. I refused to go for higher salary. I refused. Timugenda kunyingiza mu nsobi. They were paying me 3.6 million. Then 20% I gave to NRM. So I think Mama, on the account, they put there 2.7 million. Then my people came and said, but President, in Tanzania and Kenya, I said, this is Uganda. Not Kenya, not Tanzania, not UK, not Pakistan, not no. My people are still getting smaller salaries. There's no way I can get a big salary and then I say you remain with small. Let's pay these scientists well. Authority has nothing to do with pay. Even if I'm getting a lower salary than all of you here, you challenge me and then you will see who has got authority. Why do you mix authority with pay? Banyankore normally don't eat before the children have eaten. When they bring food, the old man will not eat. Have the children eaten? That's when he will eat. Even in Baganda, I saw them on Mikoro. Nanyinimu doesn't eat when the guests are eating. He just sits there, supervises. So therefore, Professor Katunguka, on the issue of if they are scientists, they must be paid for the government universities. They must be paid what they will be paid in the private sector, our scientists, in the government universities. I even heard that they don't get, because there's one of my people whom I talked to, and she told me that they don't get retired. There's some issue about retirement, something. What is the story in the universities about retirement? Professor Katunguka, you tell me. Do you have any problem with the retirement packages for our teachers? Is it different for government universities?
Your Excellency, the situation appears to be different from one university to another. There are some universities which contribute to NSSF, and others have their own retirement, in-house retirement packages.
Oh, you don't have a harmonized?
No, there is no harmonized retirement package for public universities. I think that was the matter of contention.
Is that a good thing or a bad one?
Your Excellency, I think it's a good thing.
Oh.
Because when they retire, then they have something to keep them going.
Is it good to have a non-harmonized?
No, I think a non-harmonized one would be treated differently from one institution to another. There are some institutions that have their own internal arrangements.
No, so Mbaleke, you have no problem.
Your Excellency, I think this matter was discussed in Public Universities Forum, and we are going to discuss it again and see whether we can come up with a plan, whether government can pay retirement packages for all retirees from government institutions, including universities.
Because I had one of my people who was really suffering, and when I asked her what was the problem, she said, you know, we in the university, because she was teaching in the university also, we in the universities, when we retire, really, we are not the same like the public servants, and I was not happy. So, what will you do?
Your Excellency,
Chairperson, you are the chairperson. You advise me, because you said you are there to advise me. That's what Kololo said. In the 15 points of Kololo, one of them was to advise me. So I am now here to be advised.
Your Excellency, to be honest, I have not put my mind to this particular problem. You
go and discuss it and come and advise me.
I'll do that, Your Excellency.
Through the minister.
Thank you.
So with these few words, I congratulate you. Katonda Wavere.
Your Excellency, you deserve a standing rare ovation for this standing up for us. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Your Excellency, as one of the signs that you have visited the National Council, we have a souvenir magazine, and you are going to sign on it, and I request Honorable Peter Ogwang, PS Amara, Professor Kokor, Professor Katunguka, Professor Joy Kwesiga, Dr. Nora Mreira, Dr. Kagume, and Dr. Vincent Sembati, and Tito Kayigwa to go and witness the chief guest signing and on the dam.
That is our souvenir magazine, and all of you have got copies. Your Excellency, we are grateful for the words of wisdom and the guidance that we need to be clear as education.